everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bree Buonomo. Hi if you're new here, or hey if you've been here before. Today I am going to be doing a tag video that was actually requested from one of my subscribers, and that is the anti-TBR tag. This was originally made by Nicole in her books. I will leave the original video linked down below. And basically it's just a video describing what books I have no interest in reading. So without further ado, let's just jump in. So the first question is, what is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading? So I'm sure there's probably a few, because as books circulate and gain popularity, sometimes I'll be interested in them and then eventually that interest passes and then just don't care anymore. But I do think I have an answer for this one that's probably pretty shocking, but that is actually going to be the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. At this point, I just don't have any interest in reading it. While I have read her other two series, and I've both enjoyed and kind of got frustrated over various parts of both series. This new series just doesn't interest me. I could be completely wrong, but I just feel like there's going to be a lot of the same tropes and a lot of the same dynamics in her characters that she has in the other two series, and for that reason I'm just not interested. I would rather continue with the series that I already like, which is the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I'm pretty content with that. So at this point I don't have any intention on reading that series, but who knows? I mean, maybe one day down the road we'll get to it. Question number 2 is a classic book or author you don't have any interest in reading. And this one is, it again could be so many books, because a lot of classics just don't hold any interest for me in general. But I will say a couple of the big ones I will likely never read. So any classic that is over like 300 pages is likely never going to be read by me. War and Peace comes to mind. The Count of Monte Cristo comes to mind. Anything that's gigantic, even Les Mis. I don't think I'm reading any of those, just because the time commitment to read that is not going to be there. I really struggle with a lot of classics because of the style that they're written in. So I figured if I'm going to read classics, they should at least be a little bit more manageable for me. And then, you know, I'll be content. But those big ones are likely not going to happen. Question number 3 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. And I don't know if I have an answer for this one off the top of my head. I don't really associate like the authors. Typically, like, I know more of names. So if I am interested in a name of a book, then the name of the author comes. And that's usually how I kind of learn about authors, is not really about them first. It's usually their book first. So off the top of my head, I don't know any books that I likely, like, there's an author that I'm like, nope, I'm never going to read from them. And there could be one that, like, it's pretty obvious that I'm just not thinking of. And even some of the books that, like, I don't know if I'll ever get to, like Pierce Brown, for instance. I only own the first one. I don't know if I will get to it, even though my one friend keeps telling me I should read it, but I don't know if I will, to be honest. But it's not because I'm like anti him, it's just I don't know if I'm going to get around to his books. So I really don't know. This one is a pretty hard question. I feel like if one comes to me in the editing, then I will post it here. There was a sub-question to this, which was a specific problematic author, so it kind of, you can answer it separately. And I have read Veronica Roth in the past with Divergent, but I know that there's been some problematic issues with her moving forward. I don't know if I will ever read her anymore, and not really just because of the problems, but just because I have always been disappointed in the books I've read, and then there has been controversy along with it, so I just feel like I don't know if I would ever pick her up again either. The next question is an author that you've read a couple books from and decided that they were just not the author for you. This one is a very easy one for me, because I very recently read another book from this author, and that would be A.G. Howard. A.G. Howard is pretty popular for fantasy retellings. She wrote the Splintered series, which is a 4-book series about like kind of Alice in Wonderland retelling. And prior to that, I read her book called Roseblood, which was a Phantom of the Opera retelling / sequel, and I really hated both of them. There's just no getting around that. I did not enjoy myself. I actively was angry reading both of the books, and Splintered, I I think I stopped reading this last 2 or 3 chapters. Like, I just couldn't do it because I'm like, why am I wasting my time with this? It's a me thing. I don't connect with the books. I don't like the way that they're being retold, and for that reason, I'm not going to be picking up any more of her books because they're not for me. Question number 5 is a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. For this one, I would probably say the only genre that I typically can't give my heart into is historical fiction. And not actually like just historical fiction. It's really historical war fiction where the war is like the primary focus. I had a class back in college that it was a history class, and it specified on like the Civil War period. So All's Quiet in the Western Front and Darkness at Noon were 2 books that we had to read for class, and they were specifically following like soldiers in the war. I don't like it whatsoever. If there's no magical elements, if there's no romance, if there's nothing but just war and your desperation in that time, it's not for me. So like I said, I can't even say historical fiction. It's just that sub genre of historical fiction is not for me. Same thing with war movies. I don't want to watch them. I'm not interested. I don't care. I know it's a real thing, but I think that's part of the reason why I don't like it, because it doesn't make me happy and it's not fun to watch. So that's really the only genre that I don't think I can ever get into and I will ever try again, because otherwise I am pretty open to most genres in the book world. Question number 6 is a book you bought but don't have any intentions on reading, and this could include books that I previously purchased and unhauled. So I will link above my most recent unhaul video. I think I have 2 on this channel, maybe just 1. But I will link that unhaul because those are a lot of books that I got rid of. And it's funny that this question comes up because I was actually thinking, like, during the summer I want to redo the library and paint and maybe put new flooring down. So while I was thinking about that, I was looking around at all the books that I'm starting to have stacked, and I'm like trying to figure out how I can fit them all in here and still look nice. So I have been thinking about some other books that I might not keep. 2 of the books that have come to mind, and I feel bad, but it would be Beast by Megan Crew and Just Another Damn Thing After Another by Jodi Taylor. The reason that I'm considering maybe unhauling these in the future is because I won both of these in giveaways, and I just don't know if I will ever actually get to them. I was super excited back when I started building this library and making it my little zone of comfort in my office. I pretty much was like entering every contest possible. I was going to all the library sales. I was just collecting books to fill the library. Now we're well beyond that, and I'm filling it with books that I really do want to read. So stuff like this that I've been keeping around because I won them and I would love to give the authors a chance, I just don't know if I will, because I don't know what they're even about. The only one with this one, I think in particular, this one is signed. So this one may be the winner out of the 2, because I'm pretty sure this was just a win and it's not signed or anything like that. It's not. So if anything, I might keep this one for a little bit longer. Question number 7 is a series I have no interest in reading, or a series that I started and have no intention on finishing. Now, I could already use my answer for the Sarah J. Maas one, because Crescent City I don't really have any interest in starting, as popular as the series is, and you know, people could try to convince me otherwise, but I'm just not interested. And if I'm not interested, I don't want to force myself to read something if I'm interested in other books. Another one that might be an unpopular opinion, but at this time, I don't know if I want to continue with the Shadowhunters books. I had taken a very long time trying to get through the first series, which is The Mortal Instruments, and I own her other 2 series that are out, which I think is The Infernal Devices and The Dark Artifices. I didn't even bother starting to buy the newest one because there's so many. But to be honest, I didn't really like The Mortal Instruments. I struggled through it. I read it because I owned the books and it was on my shelves forever. And I'm sure there's arguments again that they get better, but I just don't know if I'm interested. I have tried watching every iteration. I watched the movie, I watched the series, and I don't know, man. I just don't know if I'm going to continue with that whole world at all. And another series I'm probably not going to continue with, which would be the Blabber series by Amélie Wen Zhao. I read the first book and I literally picked it up probably 6 times. I kept pushing myself through it. It was putting me in a book slump. And finally, I borrowed it, the audiobook from my library to finish it. But I can't tell you a single thing that I remember about that book. I thought it was just, it was fun in some regards, and then other ways it was just unremarkable. So unfortunately, I'm just not going to continue with that series either because it doesn't hold my interest and I don't remember a single thing in it. And question number 8 is a new release you have no interest in reading, and I think this one could be another one that would be combined with a series I have no intention of reading, because one of the most recent young adult fantasies that released was A Vow So Bold and Deadly. The first book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and it's by Bree Kemmerer, and I initially thought maybe because of all the buzz it was getting that I was going to read it, but now the 3rd book is out and I'm never going to try it. I'm happy that there is buzz, and I think there's still buzz around it. Personally, I don't even know. I just know the first book I was so hyped, but I'm probably just going to pass on it. I have way too many to read in the meantime, and I'm going to buy more at some point because I can't help myself. So there you have it. Those are my anti-TBRs, the books that I probably will no longer read, and even some books that I might be getting rid of in the future. So overall, I hope you enjoyed this video and my likely unpopular opinions. I am not going to tag anyone in this, but if you do want to do this tag and you were inspired by me, please feel free to shout me out and I will definitely go check out your video. Otherwise, guys, please feel free to like and subscribe if you're not already. I post videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, and occasionally I do writing live streams for writing sprints. So hopefully you will catch me around for that. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.